Shalom, family. Shalom. This is my fault. I got caught up into doing things and I lost track of the time, but I'm here. I'm sorry, y'all. So, shalom to everybody in the chat. I hope you're all doing well. And we're going to get started shortly. Just give it a few minutes for more people to come in. Shalom, family. Okay, here. Let's see. Get this over here. Okay. Good. Okay. Perfect. All right. Okay. Okay. Perfect. All right. Was one more thing I wanted to see here. Okay, now here's what I wanted to let you all know. The Better Buggy just sent me the new promotional code for the next 7 days, and anybody that make a purchase of produce over the next several days will get free soursop juice. So when we're done here, I will put this in the community tab. Okay, so if you make a purchase of produce over the next 7 days, I'll give you the code that you put in. So if you make a purchase over the next several days, you will get free soursop juice. All right. So thank you, everybody. I mean, you're the ones that are making this possible. And, it's because of all the sales that you are making from my channel over at the Better Buggy. They are now able to offer you some pretty good promotionals, a break on the shipping, price off of the produce, and now you get free soursop juice. So I definitely want to try the soursop juice. So I might have to make a purchase myself. So just look in the community tab when we're done, and I will give you all of the information you will need. All right. So if you are interested in, soursop juice is good. It really is good. I've been buying it from Amazon I would say probably over the last 6-7 months. I actually found it on Amazon. So, and I like the fact that the Better Buggy also offer it, and they give you a choice. You can have it sweetened or unsweetened. So they sell it 2 different ways, and I like that too. So, everybody, big oil is running into problems. So when you think COVID did not impact everything, it literally impacted every single industry, whether you notice or not. So big oil was not spared either. They were not spared at all. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see this article. You know how they are, Let me just make it a little bigger on the screen so you can see this from Yahoo Finance. All right. All right. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay. Oh, and by the way, y'all, I got people already complaining about the Better Buggy commercial. that thing has literally only been on for a week. I just, they are sponsoring my channel, so I have to play the commercial. That's just the way it is. That's what happens when you get a sponsorship. That means you got to advertise for the people that are sponsoring your channel. So I'm sorry, but if it is annoying you, then it's best that you move on and maybe go to a channel where you don't have to look at a commercial for Black business trying to advertise to Black people. So just imagine that annoys you. Time for you to move on. All right, y'all, can you see my channel? Please give me, not my channel, but the screen. Please give me a 1. Thank you, Capricorn Black, for the super sticker. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's get started. It is a big problem. You don't see big oil complaining a lot, but now they are. Even the economic conditions that we have gone through due to COVID is also impacting them. So this came out on Yahoo Finance, April 12th, 2021. Big oil's dwindling reserves are a major problem. So this is something that will have a global impact, y'all. And also, this is a good story for you to look at, because if big oil is saying, our reserves are dwindling, this means higher prices for the consumer, gas and oil prices. So just keep your eye on everything right now. In the coming years, the power structure of global oil markets is set for a major shakeup. If the reserve life of international oil companies, ICOs, continue to decline, the dwindling of investments caused by a very tough economic environment and the growth of activist investing has resulted in a major decline in new projects and the underdevelopment of existing or prospective opportunities. Citibank warned in a recent survey note that ICOs such as Shell, Exxon, and Chevron are looking at major declines of reserve production lifespans. According to Citi, the overall average reserve in place have fallen by 25% since 2015, with less than 10 years of total annual production available. These issues appear to have been underassessed by financial markets, with analysis unable to accept that the very future of ICOs is under threat. An oil company can only exist if it has reserves and is able to keep production at targeted levels for a long period of time. If the reserves and productions dwindle, it is not only the attractiveness of such an independent oil company that comes into question, but its existence. In its research note, Citibank described falling ICO reserves as an impending challenge, and the annual report from the industry giant suggests that these once great companies are now in trouble. They're saying these big oil companies that we are used to seeing, Chevron, Exxon, Shell, are in big trouble. Wow. According to Citibank, it is low oil prices that are the primary driver of this growing problem. So there is no circumventing with relationship between reserves and earnings. So we believe that the analysis reserve trend is extremely important. And so this is an indicator of the company's health, said Citi. As demands recover and oil prices climb, there are plenty of potential financial windfalls in 2021 for these companies to take advantage of. The question remains, however, over whether or not the company will invest in new production and reserves, or will they use it to pay dividends. Some analysis have already claimed that the current reserve crisis is no real issue, as most ICOs are going through an energy transition phase. However, to invest in energy transition, these companies need plenty of cash to cope with the planned multi-billion-dollar wind, solar, and hydrogen projects, while also keeping investors and shareholders happy, as stated by Citibank. The latest words from the IOC board chairman, Black pays for green, refers to the 80% of the CFFO cash flow from operations generated from oil and gas activities, which is expected to be above 70% by 2030. If reserves are not high enough to sustain normal oil and gas operations, the time frame for energy transition success then becomes a major issue too. Citi reported that it has two distinct groups of IOCs in the oil sector, with 6 of them having the reserve lifespan of around 10 and a half years, and 3 of them with a reserve lifespan of roughly 8 years. The first group consists of Total, BP, Chevron, I guess that's E and I. See, I'm not familiar with some of these because they're not around me. ConocoPhillips, know what that is. Exxon Mobil. The second group is Repsol and Shell. Okay, Equator. All right, so let me go down a little. So some of these must be on different parts of the US because I'm not familiar with all of those companies, but some of them like Chevron and Exxon Mobil, I know what they are, and they're around me. Especially if you cross the bridge to Philadelphia, you'll see all of those oil refineries there. Okay. Assessment should also be made about the geopolitical factors forcing reserve ratios of IOCs down. By enforcing the net zero policies on independent oil and gas majors, and incremental shifts in investments is underway. IOCs, due to their falling reserves and the need to de-risk their portfolios, are now unable to pursue new opportunities with the same vigor as they once would. Clean energy initiatives, ESG investments, and the sustainable development goals are all having a direct negative impact on IOCs and their ability to maintain reserves and productions. So, wow, I mean, you would think all the years these oil companies have been in business, they would know what to do. But it seems like they don't. They don't know what to do. So one major impact of this development is that as IOCs are struggling to keep the production reserves in place, national oil companies, NOCs, have managed to maintain their impressive reserves. Major producers, Aramco, ADNOC, IOC, and NOC, are looking at reserves and production ratios that go beyond 25 years. If IOC production is culled or choked, the demand for oil from NOCs will increase substantially. Profit margins per barrel are also a major investment issue, as IOCs have been looking at more challenging environments, such as deep water, offshore, and Arctic and shale. Okay. So they're talking about going deeper into the water to get oil. Haven't they messed up the water with oil before with oil spills? They've done that multiple times. We certainly know about that. Okay. So while NOCs still have major conventional reserves in place, margins of Aramco's barrel versus Shell show a clear picture. Investing in or financing the future developments or production capabilities of NOCs will be much more attractive. Power is clearly shifting away from NOCs. Global hydrocarbon supplies provide security for non-hydrocarbon producing economies, but the system is now under threat. Energy transition risks are still being assessed, but the option of a global energy market that has shifted to rely heavily on NOCs for oil is unlikely to be an optimal solution. Energy and product stability has been supported by a mixed power structure in which IOCs and NOCs work together to maintain equilibrium without reserves of more than 10 years. That stability is under threat. So I mean, I don't think in my lifetime, I don't believe I would have ever seen a story about big oil losing their grip on the market, but they are. Look, dwindling reserves. I mean, I don't think I would have ever seen this 10 or 20 years ago. But look at what we are seeing now. You know, everything is impacted by what's going on right now. Don't believe for one second it's not. And it's just amazing how our economy was disrupted a year ago, and now big oil is being disrupted by lower reserves to the point where they think they should go out in the ocean, go up in the Arctic and dig deeper for more oil. You know, they have really literally ruined the planet with all of the things that they have done. Now, look, our forefathers lived on this planet. They had oil too. But look at how destructive these people are with the land when it comes down to oil. They didn't do all of this and they survived just fine. You know, and if they start digging deeper, you're looking at more oil spills. And look at how much they have ruined the ocean life with all the oil spills. Y'all still remember the one, wasn't it Exxon Valdez? I'm sure some of y'all remember that. They have never cleaned that stuff up. And see, that's the thing. When they get out there and act like they're trying to clean stuff up, they never entirely clean anything up. They have never entirely cleaned up any oil spill on this planet. There's always remnants of it that's still out there. These people are reckless. Yeah, the Exxon Valdez. Yep, that was back in the 80s. And they never cleaned that up entirely. Yep, I remember the one in the Gulf of Mexico. Y'all remember these? Yep, I sure do. And that was a lot of oil. And do you remember they tried to hide the fact that the U.S. had oil? They used to say, oh, no, there's not that much oil. But I tell you what, that Gulf of Mexico spill showed there's a lot of oil over here, even in the US. I don't think they wanted everybody to know. I think these rich folks was trying to hide that. Yeah, I remember the BP spill. Yep, Louisiana coastline. And I remember looking at all the wildlife that was covered in oil. Oh, that was terrible. That was a terrible one. A lot of them died. And every time they would show that in Louisiana, I just remember those big blobs of oil all over the beach area around there. Oh, that was a bad one. That definitely was a bad one. Yeah, Russia and the Ukraine, y'all, they've been fighting like that for decades. I have been watching, and I know they're sending, military over there and everything, trying to get everybody in place. But they have been fighting like that for decades. I remember hearing about the Ukraine and Russia back when I was a teenager, y'all. I mean, that's how long those two countries have been fighting each other. It's been a long, long fight, decades and decades long. So I'm not too surprised about that. But the Ukraine, that's another place that have a lot of oil. Oh yeah, up next, I lived through the gas shortage back in I remember the gas shortage back in the 70s. I was a child back then, but I remember it. I remember that. And I remember the long lines everybody was in waiting to get. People were getting into fist fights in those lines. It was terrible. And you went to the gas pump based on whether you had an odd or even tag. I remember all of that. That shortage was bad. And I remember my father used to try to go like 6 a.m. to get his gas. And usually he would get in and out of, in and out of there because, it was not a lot of people up. So he would try to get out extra early in the morning to get his gas, and there was no line. But if you waited until late morning, early afternoon, you were stuck in a long line trying to get gas. And I remember seeing them lines all around. Some of them were bad. But you notice, somebody had sent me a story, and it was some locate. I got to go back and look. Well, the COVID cases jumped up 200,000 overnight. 200,000 in 24 hours. Look, it is going to get worse. The longer they keep trying to keep everything open, don't even be surprised if that number hits 1 million. See, these folks seem to believe they can ignore a highly contagious virus. And I'm telling you, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I don't care what they open up or try to pretend we're moving past this. And yeah, 200,000 overnight. 200,000 overnight. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, this is only going to get worse. Let me see if I can pull this up. Okay. This was actually something that came out of India. And they said India records more than 200,000 fresh COVID-19 infections in 24 hours. More than 1,000 deaths recorded on Thursday. Now, you may think, oh, well, that's over there. But just remember, America just opened itself back up. We got a lot of people that live in America from India. And you can best believe they already started international travel up with no restrictions. So Americans can go anywhere they want, which means it's going to be a lot of people bringing things, variations we never had before back into the country. Remember, didn't they say there's over 1 million a day across America traveling domestically and internationally? At least that's what I read. So all of these, any nationality that you see here, those people are flying back and forth. So it's only a matter of time. America is doing bad, but what they're trying to do is keep the bad news out of mainstream news. But you can still find what's going on with COVID online. Now, they have paused or suspended Johnson & Johnson vaccines due to blood clots. So, but this is what these people do. This is what they're made of. Withholding the truth or telling you part of a truth and part lie. This is who they are. This is what they've been doing for centuries. You think they're going to start telling any truth now? As long as they're in charge, you can best believe you're going to get a boatload of lies. That's what you're going to get. That's why I don't listen to them or their news. And I'll just pursue things on my own and try to look for it online. It's a waste of time trying to get news from them because it's never going to be true. But it is now among the young. And I think that's blowing them away. That's scaring the hell out of them because in the beginning, it was not like that. But now, I think Trump is the one that was all over the media talking about kids don't get it or they got very little of it. You can't say that no more. I think he spoke it into existence. That's what I think he did. Yeah, there's still a lot of people not taking it. I went into a Rite Aid that's not far from me. And I went in there just to get a few products and stuff. And as soon as you walk in the door, we got the COVID vaccine. Just come back into the pharmacy. So they got the signs everywhere. Like it hits you right in the face as soon as you walk into these pharmacies now. Oh, you get your COVID shot here, and they direct you in the back of the store where they're giving out the shots. I was like, man, I ain't going back there. Are you crazy? Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, there's a dual variant that came together. I spoke about that before. Let me see if I can find it. It came out in the Los Angeles Times, and I did show this before on a different live stream. I can show it again. It doesn't hurt anything. See if I can get it open. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Yeah, I did this before, but I'll open it up again. Okay. Come on. All right, here we go. Let me share my screen again. Here it is. This one is 2 different variants that came together, and this was originally found in India. Some of you might remember because I did talk about this on one of my other live streams. These are two variants, and once it was only in India. This is why I'm telling y'all it don't take long for things to come here because people are traveling. So this was once upon a time in India, and about a week ago, it was found in California. And it's a double mutant coronavirus variant. And they were saying at that time one person had a confirmed case and there were several others that were suspected of having it. So ask yourself, how did something that was only in India about a month ago is now already in California? People are traveling. People are traveling. That's how. And America is encouraging anybody that got both jabs, go ahead and travel. They're encouraging it. Yeah, but you got a lot of East Indians that live in California. And they're going to travel back and forth to see their family or go back to India on business. They're doing things like that. So I'm not surprised. And I was even reading there's new variants in places like Brazil. And look at how many people that are at that border. You can best believe they're from different countries all over South America. They're not all Mexicans. We know that. And you can best believe they are walking in here with variants that we don't even know about. And those people at the border are sick. I'm reading those stories too. How many of them are at that border coughing and they're showing all kinds of symptoms and they're getting ready to walk right in here to America. But this is what Joe Biden wants. He wants all these immigrants coming in here, and you see what's happening. The border is a mess. They said this is the worst they've ever seen it. It wasn't even this bad during Obama. It's worse during the Biden administration. Well, they're claiming, James, they're not going to shut down again. They're not going to have a choice. There are already places talking about shutting down even around me because all of the employees are sick. Remember, the UK variant is what's dominating in the US, and it's more highly contagious and it's more fast moving. And they're already talking about closing places down already that just opened maybe a little over a week ago. People are sick. If your employees are sick, how are you going to keep going? You can't. They may say they don't want to shut down. Look, Europe is already shutting down. They tried to open back up, and already you're hearing about Europe shutting down again. The US don't have no magic pill to keep themselves open. Yeah, I mean, look, if you can stay separated, definitely do that. Yeah. Well, I mean, I look over the past few weeks, you see how our children are being treated in these schools. That's why I keep doing these stories. And you notice mainstream news, they rarely do these stories, but they know what's happening. Mhm. No, they never, James, they never cared about any of us. It's all about making money. It's all about money. It's money over people. That's how America's always been. Money over people. It may change, but it's still all the same. Yeah. Everybody should take that into consideration. Zarth 4, homeschooling really is the thing our people really need to get heavily into. Thank you, Anne of Yah, for the super sticker, because COVID is not getting better out here. They don't have anything under control. They're just telling you that. And number two, look at what's going on with our kids, with you sending them to school. They're being attacked. Their psyche is, they're trying to psychologically damage your children the best that they can. And look at how many of the teachers got caught into situations in virtual class because parents are now around watching everything. And, they're shocked at what these teachers are saying and doing to their students. And they should not be shocked. Just look at the history of these folks. You shouldn't be surprised. It's up to you to get your children out of harm's way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, oh man. I know it's terrible what we're looking at. I hate seeing our kids get hurt. And I especially hated that football player when he was in that locker room. What a mess that is. But haven't heard from his parents. Now, I had someone come, and what they did was they tried to claim, and I think this was a white person just from what, was written, and it just sounds silly as hell. They were saying that it was just a joke. No, black people don't generally joke with a bunch of bananas and all that stuff. That's not our thing. We don't joke like that. But this person had the nerve and audacity. I guess he thought I was going to believe that, which I don't, that it was a joke. No, that was not a joke. That was not a joke. And historically, y'all have. Look, when I was living in Germany, I would watch some of the soccer games because soccer is way bigger over there than it is here in the US. And every now and then it would be a really good black pair. You can tell when they're intimidated by a very talented black man on the soccer field, because what they do is they do the same thing, a form of intimidation. As he's playing, they're throwing bananas onto the soccer field. This is what the fans are doing over in Europe. They're throwing bananas at him, trying to intimidate him because more than likely he's the best player out there. See, they're not trying to go after easy targets. They're trying to go after the targets that they know are better than them. So I used to watch them do that, toss bananas out there while they were playing. So they got a history of doing that, not just here, but over in Europe as well. They do that crazy stuff. Put bananas in a black player's locker and all that stuff, or, it's just a bunch of silly crap. Yeah, they could, but it's also, Brother Sly, it's also the monkey reference. They have always, even to this very day, they try to reference us as monkeys. And genetically, we don't even have primate DNA at all, but they do. We don't have that. We've never had it. Even, believe it or not, even being mixed up here with them, we still don't have that. That has never been part of our lineage. It's part of theirs, but it's never been part of ours. We didn't evolve from no monkey. As long as this world has been here, we have always been men and women on this earth. We haven't been anything but that. We didn't evolve into nothing. We've been men and women since the beginning, and that's it. Mm-hmm. But y'all, just wait for summer because they keep propping up summer. And I'm telling you, it is not going to be a good summer for them. It is not going to be good. It wasn't good last summer. And we weren't even talking about variants last summer. And look at how bad the summer was. Now we got these highly contagious, fast moving variants. And I'm telling you, what they're doing now, they are tanking their summer right now. Everything they're doing now is going to ruin their summer for real. No. If you've been in this country for generations, Darlene X, just like many of us have, if you get your DNA tested right now, you are not going to find any primate in there. Even all of these generations that we have been here, you're not going to find that in us. You're not going to find, you'll find it in them, but not us. And plus, Neanderthal can't even dominate. Remember, we have the dominant gene. A Neanderthal gene does not dominate us. It can't. It's recessive. So, no, you wouldn't find that in our background. We are the dominant, not Neanderthal. That's never been dominant up against our genes. Never. That's why you can DNA test us and you're not going to really find that kind of stuff in our DNA. It's just not there. Mm-hmm. Rosalind, they got everything that they got a lot of stuff that we just simply don't have. We don't. And that has a lot to do with their behavior too. If you have certain things in your DNA, yeah, that's going to affect how you act. It is. It's going to impact your behavior. Mhm. Oh yeah, we definitely dominate everything. It doesn't matter what group you procreate with, the black gene is always dominant. You know, that right there should tell you because if you notice a lot of biracial children, some of them look practically like a full black person if you didn't see their parents or they didn't just naturally tell you. I went to school with a couple like that. I went to school with a girl named Annette. Annette had a white parent and a black father. Her father was one of those real blue black Negroes. He was jet black. And because of his complexion, her kids, if you would have seen Annette, you would have thought she was a full sister. Okay. I only know she wasn't a full sister because I've seen her mother. But if you didn't know, and if she didn't tell you, you would have thought she was a full black um, girl. I mean, she had the kinky hair and everything, but she still had one white parent. She still had one white parent, and she was darker than me. Okay, and she had one white parent. But if she didn't open her mouth and tell you, or you didn't see her mother, you would never have known. And there are a lot like that. A lot. Yeah. Well, it goes by because we were the first on the earth. And as you get to other people, then yeah, the strain gets weaker and weaker, especially if you're last. Yeah, you're right, honeybee. That was the law, but even during biblical times, our men were still mixing with Gentile women. It was still going on. But you're right, that was the law. We were not supposed to mix with other groups, but it still always happened. Yes, we are. hmm No, no, I'm not surprised, hood mistress, that melanin is now over $500 per gram. I'm not surprised. You notice they try to devalue us all the time, but everything about us is worth a lot of value. Our abilities are worth a lot of money. That's why you see so many of our men in sports and in entertainment, our voices, the way we have the ability to sing, that's of value. Everything about our organs and skin and everything is of value, but these folks are trying to devalue us as much as possible. Well, it don't work on everybody. It certainly don't work on me. They can put forth their best effort and it still ain't gonna work on me. Mm-hmm. No, but see, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Their crap can work only if you let it work. You just got to build yourself up psychologically, and nothing they do will stick. That's what you got to understand. Nothing they do will stick. You'll laugh. In fact, you'll laugh at it because you know where it's all coming from. You'll just laugh at it. hmm Oh yeah, they've been trying to T Waters. They've been trying to emulate melanin for a long, long time. I remember even back when I was a child, they were still trying to emulate it. Do you know when my family moved to New Jersey, we were the only Black family on the street. And I remember we would go in the swimming pool, and I kid you not, I would have the white kids come up to me and put their arm next to my arm. And they would say, I'm almost your complexion. I just got to be out here a little longer. I kid you not. They used to say that to me. I'm almost your complexion. I just got to be out a little longer. I'm almost your complexion. I don't know if any of you had that happen, but I remember they did that. Quite a few of them during the summer. Quite a few would do that. And I was like, what the hell? Why would they want to be my complexion? But that's what they were trying to achieve. And they did that to me. And it was more than one, it was several of them that would come up to me, whether I was in school or at work. And they would come after a day out in the sun and put their arm up next to mine to see if they were my complexion. I kid you not, they used to do that. That has happened to me multiple times. And I was like, okay, why are you trying to achieve my complexion? You know, but I realized then, now I know, I was pretty young then, and I was like, okay, what the hell is going on? Especially when I was in school, when I was in elementary and junior high school, and they would come up and do that. Thank you, Shadesworthy, for the super sticker. Thank you, P. Dwo, thank you for the super chat. Oh, you said 160,000 per African. You know what? That's how much they're paying in China for the blackmail thing. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I bet you're correct. Yeah. You see, now I'm seeing some of y'all experience that too. And I used to always think that was strange. I was like, okay, why are you trying to achieve my complexion? But they would do that all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just find that to be very strange. Oh, please. I remember when I was growing up, and because we were around so many white people, you would go in your backyard and see like three, four of them, on the lawn in their backyard with their towel stretched out on top of the towel and just laying out there tanning. I don't see it as much now because the neighborhood has gradually started turning black. So I don't see it as much now. But back in the day, woo, you saw it all the time. Some of them were bold enough to be on the front lawn doing it. They would be stretched out on the front lawn just trying to tan. Thank you, James, for the super sticker. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, everything is happening pretty fast. You know what I start noticing, y'all? They've been talking a lot about 2024, the eclipse. I'm starting to see multiple articles that they're writing about that. I think they're really concerned about that eclipse. That's the one that's going to X out America, if y'all remember. And probably yesterday, I saw another story, and probably over the last, I would say, like the last month, I've been seeing these 2024 eclipse stories coming out more and more. So it's definitely a concern I can see. Yeah. Yeah. I remember when those tanning salons were popping up everywhere. They're still around, they're still using them. Yeah. Y'all, they said the effects of that Suez Canal blockage is now showing up. A lot of businesses are feeling the impact because, like I was telling y'all before, it was not just that one vessel, it was over 350 other vessels just sitting there waiting to get through the canal. So there's all kinds of product shortages out here now, and companies like manufacturers that were waiting for material, they're still waiting. So that is really messing a lot of things up too. They said it could be months before they get everything caught up. So that is becoming a bigger and bigger problem. But they're always, that's why they don't like going through Africa, because those pirates are always there stopping them. Thank you, Jonathan Fields, for the super chat. Thank you. hmm Yeah. So, the shortages are coming. Just get ready. They said there's all kinds of products and food and livestock and all kinds of things were on those ships. Yeah, dildos. Yeah, the Evergreen had they said a bunch of sex toys and stuff. Ooh, it's going to be a lot of mad incels out here. Yeah. T. Taylor said there's a a chicken wing shortage. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. See, now the blow up dolls and everything going to be a shortage. What are the incels going to do? Oh, man. Yeah. Well, the Somalian pilot said the reason why they said they do what they do is because when those American ships or the European ships would come through there, they would dump all their waste in the waters around Somalia. And that's the thing that pissed them off. And that's why they start hijacking them. They said they've been doing that for years. Any waste off of those ships, they dump it all in the waters around Africa. And they got sick and tired of that. If you remember, they did say why they attacked those ships. Oh, yeah, yeah. Mm, wow, y'all. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. I think America is headed in a really bad direction. Look, my state has now been in the red for the last several weeks, and it ain't letting up. They're talking about how bad it's getting, but you got a governor that's talking about restaurants opening, movie theaters opening, and it's just getting worse and worse by the day. And I guess they're going to continue to try to ignore these things until they just can't ignore it anymore. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I remember that True Royal, the blow up doll. Coming to your house, and didn't Omari say it was real heavy and everything? They try to make them things lifelike. It's to me, it's weird. I don't care. It's weird. Mm-hmm. I have no desire to go sit in a restaurant. In fact, we went past a restaurant yesterday and it was pretty packed. It was a lot of cars in the parking lot. So people are back in there, for a while, everything was on takeout, but they're back sitting in there. I just can't do it. I cannot go out there and sit in a restaurant. Thank you, Susanette Howell. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just see people crowding up in places again, and you can't tell me folks are not getting sick. I just don't believe that. I'm not going to be out there unless I absolutely have to be, and there were a few things I couldn't avoid and I had to get done, and I got it done, and I brought my behind right back home. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Joe 32, for becoming a new channel member. Thank you. Yeah, it sure does, Hood Mistress. I agree with you. You know, anything you make at home is going to taste better than the restaurants anyway. It's always been like that. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. I do love our time together. So, you know, there'll be more topics coming. There's a lot of them, actually. And we'll definitely come together and do this again. I'm hoping to put together a current event and just have a good panel on, and we just go over several of the stories that's coming out. I'm thinking about doing that this coming Sunday. So we'll see, you know, if I'm able to gather several stories, which I know I'm able to do that with so much stuff going on. We'll just do a nice panel of people. And yeah, LVZ. You're already talking LVZ. Yes, LVZ. Thank you, Jonathan Fields. And okay, and I already thanked Joe. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, everybody. Please enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be talking to you soon. Shalom, family.